Okay, to get started, let me minimize this here. We're going to go directly to kwconnect.com. So KW as in Keller Williams, connect.com. I used to say the better way to get into Connect was through my KW, and for a long while that was the case. But it looks like the issues with the login system have been nailed out or ironed out so that you can log directly into KW Connect just as easily as you can into my KW. So it'll save you one click. If you do want to go through my KW, you just click on Education up in the very top black menu inside my KW. Once we're here on KW Connect, we do want to go ahead and get logged in so that we're able to actually look at the content here and go and search and do all of that stuff. So to do that, up at the very top right, we're going to hover over this little circle with the silhouette of a person in it, and we'll click on, very obviously, log in. And you're going to log in using the exact same username and password that you use for my KW, for Command, for the KW app, for Keller Mortgage, for KW Video. All of those use exactly the same username and password. Those are all synced. And where we end up here is on my profile, which is a great place to start because this profile is what shows to other KW agents when they're searching for somebody to send a referral to. They'll see the search results, and then if they click on your picture or click on the profile link, they'll see this profile right here. So you can customize this profile from actually the next page, but let me show you what's on this profile really quickly. First, we've got this banner image here, very similar to the banner image on your Facebook page, on your Facebook profile, or on Twitter, or any of the other social media sites. Very similar banner right here. Then you've got your picture in this circle. And then as we scroll down, here's some statistics about your production and your time with KW and things like that. You're supposed to be able to turn individual ones of these on and off, but it doesn't actually work that way in my experience. It may work better for an actual agent with an agent role. On mine, I can turn these all off and it still shows them all on my profile. Same for if I were logged in as Scott. So if we get over to where you can edit your profile and you turn those switches off and those numbers are still showing in this section, you're actually going to want to reach out to KW International Support at support@kw.com. Scrolling down here, you've got your service area. You know what? I'm going to go log in as Scott instead because Scott has his much better filled out than I do. I'm just so used to logging into mine. Okay, coming down the profile page, actually above those numbers there is this About Me section. This biography, this entire profile is 100% internal. Only other KW associates are going to see this profile. So this is not the place to try to sell yourself to clients. You're selling yourself internally for that referral business. So you're going to probably put different things in this biography versus what you would in client-facing biographies. Now, that's not to say you couldn't use the same biography. You're welcome to do that. But you do have that option if you feel like it to have a different biography on this profile. Down here we've got membership. So if you're a member of KW Commercial or Luxury or Farm and Ranch or Young Professionals or things like that, those are going to be listed right here just to show other agents that are looking for a referral agent, what kinds of things you're involved in KW. And then lastly, we've got this service area section here, and you're in control of what this shows here. So you want to leave this, limit this to 1, 2, maybe 3 things here, and we'll get more in detail about that in just a little bit. Lastly, all the way down here at the bottom right is this button for Accept Cookies. If you click this button, or if you, the kitten. If you click this button or if you continue using the site, that it implies that you are accepting their cookies. And I like to click this just to get it out of the way so we don't have to deal with it. That does show there every single time you come here into into Connect, or we covered that in the command classes there. It shows every time you log into Command as well. You don't click it once and you're done. You do have to click it every time. So to edit this profile up in the we're already on the profile. You can either click on where it says change photo here on your picture or on the red edit my profile button right here. Either one of those will take you into the edit page. And starting at the top here, we've got upload photo. This is your picture, the one that's in that circle, and it'll also show up here in the top right. You can see Scott up there. So you can upload your picture here. There's not really a limit or a recommendation on file size, but because Command has that recommendation of 360 by 360, and the reason for that is it's showing it inside a circle, more often than not, that's what's going to happen with this picture here in Command as well. It shows it inside a circle. So you're better off uploading a square picture versus a tall versus wide picture. So square is usually going to be your best bet, but you can upload anything that you want there. Under that, we've got this section for banner image, or this button. That's that banner that was behind your picture across the top. It's very similar to those social media profiles. One of the things to point out about this, in fact, the most important thing to point out about this, is it must be exactly 1,920 pixels wide by 313 pixels tall. It can't be even 1 pixel different in either of those dimensions. And if you want to learn how to resize your image to fit that, we do have a short little class specifically for that, and I'm sending that to you there in the chat window. If you're watching this on a recording and you want a link to this, definitely just send us an email at support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we can get you the link for how to resize that picture there. Under that, most of this information is pretty self-explanatory. You got your email address, your phone number, mobile phone. These, theoretically, this one's supposed to be like for an office or a desk phone, but if you only have one number, you can put it in both places. Under that, you remember that service area that was at the bottom right on Scott's profile? This is where you're typing in what you want to put there. Now, this service area you do want this service area listed here to be fairly narrow. You want it to be where you are actually well versed and where you actually have a good bit of experience in working in real estate. It's not so much a place for you to list every single city individually, one by one, comma, 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 that your MLS covers. That's not what this is for. This is supposed to be a quick glance at where you are actually good at working in, where you do a good bit of business in, for other agents to see as they're looking for you to send a referral. So if I, pretend I'm Scott, he lives in Orlando, he would definitely want to put Orlando as one of his service areas. Winter Park is right next to Orlando. He probably does a lot of business in there. And then he did expand that out to Central Florida. That's getting a little bit big, and that is the maximum that I would recommend to put in this box is an area that size. Maybe if you've got like a famous zip code or something like that in your area, you might go ahead and put that. But typically you want to limit it to 1, 2, maybe 3 actual cities or even just neighborhoods if that's where you do a lot of business. So you want to make that as specific as possible to show that, yes, I am actually specialized. I know these areas, rather than I'm throwing a whole bunch of cities out there in hopes that something will show up for one of those for somebody to send me a referral. If an agent is looking for someone to send a referral to, they want someone who actually knows what they're doing, knows where they're working. And if an agent sees this big long list of 30 places that you theoretically, quote unquote, could work in, they're not going to send you that referral. They're going to look for somebody who specifically knows this area that they're wanting to send a referral into. Okay. If we have questions about that, definitely send those over in that chat window. Under that, you've got your biography. Again, this is can be the same biography that you use for clients, or you can have a different one here to show to other KW associates. This is internal. No clients are seeing this. So you can talk about your experience in this particular area. You can talk about your experience with referrals in particular, how well you take care of them, your percentage of closed referrals, things like that. If you offer like a guaranteed referral percentage or something like that, that would be great to put in this biography. Under that, you've got links to your social media profiles. These do need to be the full http://www, the entire link to your social media profiles. And you've got Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Google+. If you want help finding the links that go in these boxes, we do have, you guessed it, a class specifically for that. It walks you through logging into each of these accounts and navigating to where you can get the actual address that you can copy and paste in here. So rather than like facebook.com/ref ? Equals bookmarks. Gosh, question mark equals bookmarks. That is not your Facebook page link. It is not. It's not. Your Facebook page link does not include that ref. It does not include bookmarks. It would be something like Scott Leroy Marketing, something like that, that you named your page. And that video will show you exactly how to find that. Underneath that, we've got this spot for custom tags. This is not well defined here within Connect. But what this is the content that you're uploading to Connect. You have the opportunity to upload your own content here to Connect to share with everybody else in KW to help them build their business in the same way it helped to build your business. So these tags refer to the content that you're uploading here in Command. So for example, this is a really simple example. Say I were a listing specialist on a team. And all I worked with was listings. All I worked with was listing clients. I never worked with buyers at all. I would put things in this custom tag section like listings or FSBOs or listing scripts or listing presentation, things like that. And you would separate each of those by a comma and it would turn it into that gray box there. What I would not put into this box would be buyer script or buyer presentation or showing tips or things like that. My content would have nothing to do with any of those things because I am not a buyer's agent. I am a listing agent. So you want the tags that you put into these box or into this box to be relevant to the content that you're actually putting here into Connect or potentially adding here into Connect. If you put tags that don't refer to what you actually put into Connect, you're going to show up in searches that are not relevant for people that are looking for other stuff. And this is not like YouTube. There is no reward for getting any kind of views or followers or anything here in Connect. You're supposed to be helping everybody else in KW with the information that has helped you. And to be the most helpful, you want to be as accurate as you can with these tags regarding the content that you're putting here into KW Connect. I'm a little bit passionate about that if you can't tell. And then lastly here in these boxes, you're choosing your primary market center. This only applies if you are a member of more than one market center. If you're just a member of one market center, you're only going to have one option here. Now, if anybody knows this answer, I'm still not clear on what we're selecting this for, why you're selecting which market center is your primary, because in the referral search, you're going to show up under any market center that you're a member of. If someone goes and clicks on that market center, you're going to show in that list. So I'm not sure what this is for. Potentially something that just came to me is we're going to go over to the calendar in a little bit, and you have the option to tell the market center that's hosting this event that you want to attend this event. Potentially it could tell them that you're a member of whatever this market center is that you select here primarily. But that's just a guess. Don't quote me on that. Under that, we're choosing the email frequency for notifications about your content and the people you follow and things like that. And the content and the people you follow here in Connect. There's no way to turn them all the way off. You're just choosing whether you get them each time something happens, every day, or every week. So this would be when someone subscribes to your content here in Connect, when someone leaves a comment on your content, or a review is what they're called, when someone that you have subscribed to posts some new content here in Connect, you'll get email notifications about those things, and you're choosing how often to do that. And then lastly, down here, we've got those switches that I talked about to turn on and off those different what are they called? Production metrics, statistics, there we go, on the profile. You'll notice everything is turned off except for my time with KW, or Scott's time with KW. But if I were to go back to Scott's profile, it's still showing all of, scrolled too far, all of those numbers, not just time with KW. So these are not actually working, at least for Scott and myself. If they're not working for you, you would need to reach out to KW International Support. They're the ones that would be able to fix that. Once you've got all the information and pictures and whatever updated here on this profile, you can click on Update either up here at the very top or down here at the very bottom to make sure to save those changes so that they don't get lost by leaving the page. Once you've updated that information, let's click on the Connect logo up here in the very top left to go to the Connect homepage. So here on the homepage, we are going to go through each of these menu items individually, but before we do that, I want to work down the homepage itself because there are some fairly important sections here on the homepage. So first section obviously is this menu, and you can get to different sections of Connect through that. But to the right of that, I want to point out this little magnifying glass icon. Almost universally, wherever you are, if you see magnifying glass or alternatively binoculars, those pretty much universally, 99.9% of the time, mean search. Whenever you see a magnifying glass, think search. So if I click on this magnifying glass, it's going to pop out a search bar in place of that menu that had been right here. And I can search this from any page here in KW Connect. Now here on the home page, it's a little bit, redundant, because just below that is an additional search bar. This search bar only shows on the home page. Anywhere else on any of these other pages, you would need to use this magnifying glass here to search within Connect. Here on the home page, though, you can just search right up here at the top. And then this button right here, Upload, let's go ahead and click on that there. This is where you can share your own content here in Connect. So there's a couple of different things you can share in Connect. You can upload your own file, which is typically, just making sure I got things. Okay, so uploading a file means you're sharing maybe a PDF or a Word document or a PowerPoint presentation or things like that. That's typically going to be kind of templates that you're sharing with other associates, like this is my listing presentation template, or this is my FSBO script template, or something like that. It could be a flyer that you made recently and you had great success at your open house. This flyer brought in a lot of people. Any kind of thing that you think would help build somebody's business that's not a video or a link to an external resource. Okay, so anything that's not video or an outside link. So this would be images, text, PDFs, PowerPoints, anything else except video. So you would just choose your file, pick a thumbnail, that's optional, give it a title, keywords, description. I'm not going to go very much into these because these are very general. What am I trying to say? And a lot of these same types of things are available on things like YouTube and whatnot. So we're not going to get too much into that. You also have the option to upload a video. And on this one, you're actually not uploading. That's kind of a misnomer there, but it's the most understandable thing that people were able to find. Rather than share a video, upload is what they chose, which I definitely understand that. What you're actually doing here is sharing a video that's already been uploaded somewhere else. More often than not, YouTube, but also things like Vimeo and whatnot. You can share those videos from those other sites here in KW Connect. So you would go over to that video on YouTube. You click on the share button, copy that link, the u2.be/whatever, and paste that into this box, and then give it a title and description and all these things here. And so you're sharing that video. Basically, it's going to be embedded here in Connect for other agents to see more readily than they might if they were out on any of those other sites like YouTube or Vimeo. And then lastly, you've got the option to share a link in here. And this is links to anything that's not already here in Connect. So it's not a file, it's not a video, and it's not something that already exists on Connect. So this could be an article in a newspaper or a magazine that you found online. This could be somebody's website that you think is a great example of something. This could be a Facebook event. This could be a Facebook group. It could be anything, literally anything on the entire internet that's not already here in Connect, and it's not a video. So anything that you think, again, would build somebody's business by seeing it, you would share it as a link here if it's not one of those other two options. And again, you're just pasting that link in here out of the address bar. This is the address bar up here. You would copy that and paste it in here, and then that would be shared with all of KW basically. Coming back to the home page, starting at the top here, these are sort of ads. Very rarely are they actual ads, but more often than not, they're featured content that KW International wants everybody to see as soon as they come here into Connect. So things like the tech tip of the week, or getting started with Command, or when there's a event from KW, if there's family reunion coming up, if there's a recording of a mega camp session or something like that. The important stuff that KW International feels like everybody needs to see is going to be on these banner images up here. Just below that is what everybody really cares about for the last 6 or 7 months now, is latest in tech. What's going on with Command? What's going on with Kelly? What's going on with the new version of the app? All those answers, they do this, looks like about once a week here in Connect. They actually do it live, and we'll get to the schedule of that in just a little bit, but they do that live and they record it, and then they share it here in this section. It's also available in other places, but it's really easily available right here on the home page. Under that, we've got some featured content. what did I figure out about this? This is content shared by KW International sources, so KW University right here, or KW Connect or Mega Camp or things like that. So this is going to be, I believe, the most recent content from KW International. It is going to be videos by and large. You also have the option to, instead of seeing KW content, this is going to be the newest content from everybody else that's not KW International. What on earth? MAPS coaching has played a huge role in my decision to take. Okay, so she's in coaching, and because of that, she went to a sleep study. That would be an interesting video to watch. But anyway, this is going to be recent videos from other KW associates. That's not KW International. Scrolling down here, we've got upcoming courses. These courses pull from every calendar, from every market center across all of KW. So, if there's an event going on in your market center, it would show on this calendar. If there's an event going on in the market center in the next city over, it would show here. If there's an event going on at my market center in Pensacola, it would show here. Every market center, as long as they're using the calendar the way that they're supposed to, is going to have all of their events showing here. And so that way you can find an event that you're interested in attending that may be nearby, but it's not necessarily hosted by your individual market center. And you can find those things and go to them, if you feel like driving or traveling a little bit. Underneath that, we've got trending searches. This is just the most common things people are searching for here in Connect, and then recommendations for content from KW International. And this used to have different stuff listed in here. It looks like some of that got pushed out and they haven't put anything new in. Okay, back up to the very top. And before we go any further, let me make sure to ask if we do have any questions. If you weren't available at the beginning of the class, or excuse me, if you weren't here at the beginning of the class, if you'll look up near the very top of your screen, you should have these same 5 buttons that I do. If you'll click on this one just to the left of center, that looks like a speech bubble icon, that's going to open up our chat window here. So if we have any questions so far, definitely send me those in the chat window. I'll leave that open for about 10 seconds. I mean, you can send me questions anytime, but I'm going to wait for 10 seconds to see if anybody does have anything they want to type out there. Now, if that wasn't long enough to actually type out your question, you're welcome to continue typing. Send that to me whenever you want. I am paying attention to that. But we'll go ahead and move on, and I'll refer back to those questions if I need to. Coming up here to the menu, we've got memberships. So we've got My Memberships and Explore Memberships. These are going to show roughly the same information. This is what I was pointing out on Scott's profile, where that membership section down at the bottom left. So if you're a member of commercial or farm and ranch or luxury or young professionals or something like that, those memberships are going to be listed here. Excuse me, and then as well as information about joining any of those other divisions of KW. And we're not going to click on those individually. You can get information about those from those pages and from your MCA as well. We are going to click on calendar. We're going to spend a few minutes here on calendar to sort of explain some of the features and what you can find in here. What it's showing here by default, and it may take some time to load depending on what the last settings I used were, theoretically, what it could show here is every event going on across every market center in all of North America, which was going to be a lot of events. Okay, and it's not showing anything, so I may have turned on some filters that it's not showing anything. Anyway, so starting up here at the top, you can search for the name of a class, an instructor, or a topic. So one of the really common things that I get questions about is like FSBOs. So let me search FSBO and see what comes up. Okay, so there are some FSBO classes going on across all of KW. So we've got Amarillo, Texas, Jacksonville, Mandarin, Pocono. I don't know where that is, but the name sounds familiar. Round Rock, Binghamton, Arlington. So there are classes going on with dealing with FSBOs. And if you want more information about any of those, we can click on the name here. Let's click on this first one just to see what's going on. So this is a free class in Amarillo, Texas, instructed by Diana Thompson. And that's it. So if you wanted more information about this particular class, you may need to call the market center and see what's going on. But if there was more information here and it made you feel like you wanted to attend this class, you can actually click on attend over here on the right, and that would get information over to that market center that's hosting this event that you from a different market center are interested in attending this class. This also works for internal stuff. So if this host is, If this class is hosted at your market center leadership would see that you and whoever else are interested in attending this class here at your market center. This button isn't just for attending stuff far away, it's also stuff at your particular market center as well. Let's go back here. We can narrow this down further if we wanted to by a time zone, city, state, or zip, by a date range, and then you can also sort this by relevance or any of these other options here. So we searched for FSBO, and the first most relevant event is this one, FSBO. That's exactly what we searched for, so that's why it's showing it here at the top. What I could also sort by is event date. So this is going to show me the most recent, or excuse me, next upcoming one. So that's going to be, oh, I didn't click on search. Let me do that. So the next one coming up was actually this morning, Adopt a House Calling Lead Generation Session. So apparently these have to do with FSBO, and they are all today, this morning actually. So we already missed those. So tomorrow we've got scripts in Federal Way, which is in Washington. I believe it's in Washington State. And so if you could get to Washington by 8:30 tomorrow, you could potentially go to this class here. Yeah, that's a fun thing here. But let's click back on calendar here, and we can search for things in a little bit different way as well using filters. So let's click on advanced filter here, this red link at the top left. And what it's showing me here is, looks like Scott recently, maybe in another class or someone else here, was searching within their market center for bold. You know what? This might have been me last time I did this. So they're looking for bold within his particular market center. It looks like it's not coming up anytime soon. So before we get too confusing there, let me just uncheck all these things, go back to the basics. So for the filter by location, you can see events that are going on at KW International over in Austin. You can see events going on hosted by your region, not necessarily by market centers in your region, but by the region itself that houses those market centers. You can see any events from a market center in your region, from your market center, from all market centers everywhere, or just commercial events. Let's do this all market centers everywhere just for giggles. We'll click apply filter, and you'll see what I'm talking about in that there are a lot of events going on. And it is going to take a minute because there's a lot of events. And I apologize if you can hear that. My dog is drinking in the background. Okay, so if you look at any one of these days, except for weekends sort of, but any one of these days, you'll see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 events listed here, and then it says plus 99 more. There's usually more than that. That's just the most that it can show here. So when we click on that 99 more, it's going to show me this is every event going on in any market center on Monday, September 2nd. So this is 25 pages of about 20 results. So what is the math there? Where did my calculator? Oh, come on, 25 times 20. So 500 events, roughly, across all of KW. So there's a lot going on all of KW. So you typically aren't going to want to filter that way. But if you narrowed it down further by a particular class you were looking for, that would probably show a lot more options there. And it looks like somehow it threw that bold back in there or not. But let's go ahead and do that. So what we could do here is, okay, I want to find some class no matter where it is. I'm going to go to it no matter where it is because I can't find it anywhere around me. So I'm going to do all market center events, and it is going to be a class that I'm looking for, and I want to go to 30/60/90. 30/60/90 success through others. So let's click apply filter here. And it's going to take a minute, I think. Did I goof up? Okay, let's not do 30/60/90. Let's do the 36/12/3. What is that called? Yeah, 36/12/3. Well, okay, fine. Let's just scroll. What do we got here? Huh, those are the only options. Okay, fine. Let's see where we can find a bold here. Okay, so bold is actually ongoing in multiple places here. We've got a step 4. in several places here. Got a bold 2.0 here, bold 100. So just for giggles, let's click on this step 4 here and see where this is. Now, okay, so Debbie offered a suggestion there. It's a good suggestion, but when you're using filters, that apply filter button that's in the bottom left is the same thing as search. You don't have to click search separately if you're using the filters. In fact, that would get it confused. It would search for whatever it is up there in the search bar separately from the filter box that we were just working in. But that's a good suggestion. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so this bold step 4 is going on in Fort Worth. So if it was back on the 3rd, so pretend it was before the 3rd and I wanted to go to bold, I could say, okay, I'm interested in attending this class, and then I could go and attend bold at Fort Worth, which that would be a long time to stay in Fort Worth because bold is weekly. But, mostly I was just showing you this is what you can search for. So one last thing to show you going back to the calendar is that, go back to this filter here. You can also, let me just see what's going on at KW International, just for funsies. So there's franchise systems orientation finishing up today. There's a tech ambassador class on the 20th. No, sorry, this is a live webinar going on the 20th. They do this every other Friday, 1 o'clock. And that's an online viewing thing. Okay, so coming back across the menu here, we just finished up with calendar, and if we do have any questions as we move on, definitely send those over there. Coming over to resources, there's a lot of information here, and we are going to click on some of these, but not all of these. So Connect Live is what I was talking about back on the homepage. More often than not, it's going to be that latest in labs. They do that every Friday, but there's also additional live classes that go on throughout the week at different times, and at different times, I can't say places, they're all in the same place. So there's like interviews with high producers, mega agents. There's classes about different things. So if you want to learn what's going on live in webinars here on Connect, that's where you're going to find that. And I believe there's also access to the recordings of those live classes as well. Down here at Welcome New Associates, this is going to be information for new associates, basically what to do next type stuff. So you've joined KW, now what? There's going to be information about setting up your technology. There's going to be information about logos. There's going to be information about classes. So that would be a great place for a lot of new people joining KW. Culture is where you're going to find information, stuff, especially like Mo Anderson. She is the cultural head of KW. So this, to me, this is my own definition, and I kind of like it. You guys don't have to believe this, but my definition of culture, at least as far as KW is concerned, is how we as a company and we as individuals relate to people. And it doesn't matter who those people are, whether it's other associates within KW, whether it's our clients, whether it's our co-broker across the deal, whether it's our community and our vendors and things like that. Culture is how we as people, and we as KW people in particular, are supposed to relate to those other people. So you've got your Y4C2Ts in there. You've got the MVVBP. So if you want to learn more about how you're supposed to behave as a KW associate, that's where you're going to find that. Events is going to be the big ones. Mega Camp, what's it called? Family Reunion, that's the big one. I don't know how I forgot that name. The different retreats for like ALCs and the commercial and the luxury. So those big events is what you're going to find there on that page. Industry is how you as associates and KW as a company are impacting the real estate industry. Things like, the way mortgage is going, like Keller Mortgage, how KW became the #1 company, things like that. Under that is information about Keller Mortgage, which does have its own separate site and portal, but there's information about Keller Mortgage here, and you can get started with that information there. It is a great resource for you guys as KW agents, whether you're a listing agent or a buying agent. Great resource because it can save your clients on both sides of the deal a ton of money, and a lot of time and frustration too, but especially money. Under that, we are going to click on KWU. KWU stands for Keller Williams University. This is where you're going to find the education information for the KW authorized, I guess I'm going to call them, classes. So things like Ignite or Bold or 3612.3 or all those ones that actually have manuals and prescribed ways of teaching and whatnot, and materials and homework and things are going to be here in KWU. So we've got courses right here. Pulled out from courses is Ignite. Ignite is the most popular class in KW by and far. So they've set this out here on its own tile, but that is also inside courses here. Information about using command, the curriculum path, what classes you should be taking at which stage in your career. Same for leadership. Information about Shift, which is also inside courses here, but Shift is a great resource to get into right now. The market is shifting. It's happening. So get into Shift, get into the class, get into the book to learn how you can increase your market share, make your business even bigger while the market is quote unquote downshifting. There's no such thing as a bad market. You just change the way you do things to get your income. And then KWU on demand. So the latest live streams from KWU courses, Lunch and Learns, KWU faculty, and guides and checklists. Those are, you can click into each of those individually, but I'm going to click into courses right here. So by default, all the courses here, there's about 4 dozen of them, almost 50. The courses are going to be alphabetical, so it's really easy to find the ones that you want. And of course, Ignite is going to be right here, right at I. You can also sort these by reverse alphabetical, highest rated, most popular, most reviewed, newest first, oldest first. It's the same as any of the other content that we're going to get to through the search, which we're going to cover last because there's a lot there. But more often than not, you just want alphabetical because you know the course you're looking for. And then inside the course that you want, we'll just click on Ignite as an example. Different courses are going to have different things inside them, but typically you're going to have access to the resources, the materials in there. So if you're attending Ignite, you can find your resources in here. If you're instructing Ignite, you've got that. If you're attending Ignite or you're instructing either one of those, you can access the tracker in here, the 10-4 tracker. Now, I do want to point out, and if your instructor hasn't pointed this out, they should know this, they should point this out. These student resources here are the same that you can purchase through this button right here. It costs $25 for that, and if you want a printed bound folder, a giant binder of all the materials for Ignite, you're welcome to do that. But if you just want those materials for free and just to print out the ones that you're actually going to print out and use, then you can find those here in student resources. They're PDFs. There's the exact same stuff that's here in this booklet here. You don't have to pay for it. Okay, just wanted to point that out. Now, when you click on student resources, it's going to take you here to materials. And it's going to show you just these files here. And this is all your homework, all your missions, all your class materials. Same for instructors. Different classes are going to have different e-learning options here. Here in Ignite, you're going to have the videos basically that you're supposed to watch as part of your missions and during classes. So I don't know what this is talking about. Okay, got a little bit confused there. Reviews of the course and then resources for the faculty. You can also click on list of upcoming courses and it would go to the calendar and search for Ignite for you. You don't have to go to the calendar and click Ignite. It would just click on it for you. Okay, MAPS coaching, just what it sounds. If you want to get into coaching, if you're part of coaching, if you want coaching resources, that's where you're going to find that. So if you've gone through Ignite, you've gotten up to capping, that means you're ready for bold. If you've gone through bold and you've gotten up to the next plateau in your business, which is going to be different for everybody, but if you've been through bold and your business has kind of plateaued, then it would be time to get into coaching, probably group coaching first, but then you can also get into individual coaching as well. We'll click on marketing here. For one particular thing I want to show you, but it is good to see this page. You can get your particular market center logo here or plain KW logos. You've got a template for a listing presentation. I believe it's a PowerPoint here. Red Label Clothing, Outfront Magazine, which is KW's magazine. Press release templates for maybe your open house or things like that to share with your local newspaper. Whether they print them or not is up to them unless you buy ad space, but a press release is always great to send out. Social media resources, and then leadership resources. The thing I wanted to point out in particular here on this marketing page is logos and branding here. So let's click on that. Starting at the top of the page here, this is a very, very, very important resource here. This is the KW Identity and Style Guide. This gives you the do's and don'ts of how to use the KW name and logo and branding on your marketing materials. It tells you things about sizes, relative sizes, colors, shapes, things like that. Tells you how you are allowed to use logo, how you're not allowed to make your own KW logo, how you're not allowed to edit the logo, different dimensions and things like that, color codes for when you're printing things out. So definitely encourage you download this guide. It's a PDF, and it has all the rules for how you are and are not allowed to use the KW logo and branding in your marketing. So if you're working with somebody that's building marketing for you, a sign or a business card or something like that, share this guide with them so they can know what's possible, what's allowed to do with that branding. And then scrolling down here, down to the Market Center logo section, I wanted to point this out because you can search for and download your particular Market Center's logo if they have one. So like 196 here, that's where I'm from in Pensacola. I can download this logo pack here, and it's going to download it in a bunch of different formats: JPEG, PNG, SVG, EPS, PSD, bunch of different formats. You're going to be concerned with once you download it and you extract the zip file, there's going to be a folder in there called RGB. That's the folder you want. That's got your JPEG and your PNG in it. If you're using a designer and they need other formats, just send them the entire zip file and they can pull out the ones that they need. They know what they're doing. Now, for example, we could search for a market center that doesn't have a logo, and I can't remember one right now, but I'll search for 999 here. That's either a market center that doesn't exist or doesn't have a logo here. If your market center's logo doesn't show here, even after you search the market center number or name, you would want to have your market center leadership contact KW Red Label at kw.com in order to get your market center's logo put here into this section for you to download and other associates to download and use on your marketing materials. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck with whatever you can find on Google for your market center logo or any of the plain KW logos down here. Scroll a little far. Actually, no, I didn't. That's all we need to cover on that page. Back up here to resources, we've got MCA information, so Winmore, Cloudmore, Account Edge, MC Angels, things like that. Keller Cloud products. This is going to be very similar to any of the other technology pages here. This is going to be Command, Connect, Kelly, the KW app, all of that fun stuff here. Resources. Got leverage here. Leverage is, as far as KW is concerned, when you hear leverage, think of hiring. So this is who and how to hire to build your business and bring it up to the next level. Profit share, you're going to want to ask your team leader about. That's how KW rewards associates for building KW and helping it become even more profitable. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I do have more information, but your team leader is going to have the most accurate information and can tell you more about it. And then vendor search. This is a really important one here. I don't know why they use the word search because there's not actually a search. These are just alphabetical, and you scroll and find a vendor for whatever it is you're looking for. But there's a few dozen here for different things. You got business cards, home warranties, car rentals, Brivity, Brandco. Brandco is the only ones you can edit your Placer sites if you still have them. Starting the 15th. And then they're probably going to be the first ones that can edit the new sites through Command whenever those get that ability there. Got information for .loop and all these different places. So if you need something regarding your business, this is a great place to start looking because these are all discounts through KW. In fact, I believe there used to be, it may not be there anymore, okay. There used to be a Verizon. Okay, so there's a T-Mobile discount. I think it used to be Verizon. I could be wrong. Okay, resources, that was the last one. Okay, coming over here to Ask Agents. This is a forum for agents to ask other agents questions. At least that's what it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, what it's devolved down into is I'm looking for a referral, or I have this referral, or here's my open house, come look at it. That's almost everything people are sharing here in this. And so anyway, what it's supposed to be is I have this question about how to handle this difficult client. I have a question about this particular script. I have a question about this, that, or the other about running my real estate business. So you post that here, and then people can answer those questions that are more experienced about it. This is not, please don't, I'm asking you personally, begging you, don't post, I'm looking for a referral. There is a completely separate referrals section just for that. This is not where you're advertising your open house. This is all across the country. People in Maine don't want to see your open house in California. Sorry. Don't post that here. Post actual real estate business related questions that people can actually help you with, okay? Over here at technology, we're going to have a lot of the same stuff that was on this Keller Cloud product. In fact, I believe this is the exact same page. This tech-enabled agent here. Nope, sorry, that's the wrong one. Keller Cloud products. This page right here that we're on right here is the exact same Keller Cloud products as is right here. But if you want more information about the different KW technologies, you can find those there. This is not a class on those. Now, Leadership Tech Guide may not be available to everybody. I think this might be only for people with leadership roles. So if you don't have that, don't worry about it. We're not going to cover referrals because we do have a separate class for that. That's integrated with Command now. So we're teaching that as part of Command. There's a class, let's see, when are we doing that next? On the 25th, we're going to have that class again. It's referrals and groups within Command. It looks like they removed the chat feature, so it's just going to be referrals and groups, and that's inside Command on the 25th, same time with me. And then growth here, this is going to be a lot of stuff that you're going to want to ask your team leader about, specifically the career growth initiative. The short version is the growth initiative, and I wish this was listed first. The growth initiative is how KW became the #1 company in agent count. Okay, it's proven, it works, no doubt about it. Growth initiative is how KW got the most agents, period. End of story, that's what happened. Growth initiative, most agents, equate those things. What happened is KW International translated those same tools, same principles, same prescriptions and equations and things from growing by number of agents to each individual agent growing their own business. And that is how KW became the #1 real estate company in the country, not just by agent count. This is also by volume and by, what's it called? What is that? The number of closings? I don't even remember what that's called. But in all three of those categories, KW is now #1, and that's because of the Career Growth Initiative, which is a translation of the Provenly Effective Growth Initiative. So if you want more information about that, ask your team leader. They're going to know more about that. Okay, so now we're going to go search, and this is where I'm going to ask for some, suggestions from you guys there watching me, because I'm not an agent. I don't 100% know what you guys are looking for. So if you want to send over a suggestion of something that you'd like to learn about from other associates or from KW International here in Connect about building your business, definitely send that over there to me in the chat window. I'm going to search for FSBO again here and just see what comes up while I'm waiting for those suggestions there in the chat window. So here on the search page, what it's going to show by default is all types of content. So that's video, audio, documents, links to outside resources, everything. And it's going to be from everybody, from KW International and from KW Associates. I can do one or the other if I felt like it. I could click off KW International, so this would be just associate content, or I could do just KW content and not associate content. Okay. Now, the way it's going to be sorted by default is newest first. It's going to be the freshest content that has anything to do with this search term. Search term. So this is these guys. I have no idea what their production level is like, but these are talking about why it's better to work with an agent and about mortgages. So I guess they put those two together. So that does tangentially have to do with FSBOs. A lot of FSBO people don't want to work with an agent because they don't want to pay one, because they don't understand that an agent is going to get them more money. So anyway, so newest first is not necessarily always going to be the best way to sort your results that you're searching for. More than likely what you're going to want to do instead is relevance, which is at the top of the list. I don't know why it's not the default. But this guy, Paul Campanero, this is a relevance thing, so it's got FSBO in the name here. This guy, he's recorded himself live giving this call to an expired listing, so it's no longer live on the market, so he calls them and it turns into his listing. And so you can see how he handled that there. Got a template for a FSBO program to get the listing, 10 reasons why FSBOs fail, and this is a link to an article on Inman. How to handle a FSBO, live call again. $1 million FSBO, just like that. Again, live call. Never mind. That's not a live call, but it's an interview with an agent who got $1 million listing, even though English isn't her native language. That's cool. And then also what you could sort by is most popular, which is going to be with the most hearts, basically, I believe. So the more people click that heart button, the higher it's going to show up on this search here. So Gary explains why Ignite will work for you. So FSBOs are covered at Ignite, but then we've got how to use scripts, negotiations, buyer consultation. There we go. FSBO initial call script. This guy's got good, interaction with his content here. And then we've also got highest rated. I really don't understand what the difference between highest rated and most popular is. I think most popular is going to be most views, probably. Highest rated, there we go, is going to be the hearts here. So this guy has got a lot of people liking his content, or this content here. Anybody had anything that they want to search for yet? I've got one more idea here that I can show you guys, but anything beyond that, if you guys want to learn how to search here in Connect, definitely send that over to me. I'm going to search for listing presentation template. Gosh, I can't spell. And because this is a new search, by default, it's changed it to newest first again. So I'm going to change this to highest rated instead. There we go, got an easy expired script, seller objection handler. So these are all scripts and tips, but I want a template. So I'm going to switch over here to documents instead. So the KW Performance Report, this is from KW Connect. This is how KW International is performing as a whole. And this is a great thing to put into your listing presentation to show, hey, we're the #1 company. We're selling more than anybody. It's more likely that you're going to sell with us than anybody else. And it's more likely that you're going to make more money with us than anybody else. That's just statistics. That's the truth. That's the way it is. Now, you can't say it's guaranteed, but it is very much more likely. Here's a pre-listing presentation from this Dina Mitchell. So that's a template you can download. That's a Word doc, so you can edit that afterwards. Pre-appointment buying presentation, listing presentation, business plan template. That's not a listing presentation. Ignite buyer presentation. So let me switch this to most popular. There we go, listing presentation template 2018. So that was that one that I showed you on that resources page, but then there's more like this from like Ignite and things like that. That's going to do it for our KW Connect overview. So everybody have a great day.